In this first clip, posted on TikTok, a woman is alone in her Pennsylvania home on a cold October night. She has been settled in for hours when something about her bedroom door stops her completely. She picks up her phone and begins recording, positioning herself in bed with the door fully in frame. The room is quiet, the house is still, and there is nothing visible on the other side of the door. Watch what it does when she is not touching it.
What the? What is happening right now? First the door was moving, then I heard like talking, and then I keep seeing shadows. And for anyone telling me that I should go out there, yeah, why don't you go out there, please? Oh, it just opened and shut right in front of me. Oh man, I wish I would have. Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! I'm freaking out. And before anyone comes at me, it's freaking the middle of October in Pennsylvania. It's freezing out, so I have no windows open. I have one fan that circulates throughout the whole room, and that door has never done that. Like, it's moved on its own, but never just like slammed shut like that. I can't believe I just caught that on camera. What the actual like, I can't believe I just caught that. And of course I'm alone. Yay me. Fun times.
The door's slow drift before the violent final slam is what holds most viewers' attention. Gradual movement suggests sustained pressure rather than a sudden gust. Believers argue that a controlled October draft in a sealed bedroom cannot account for the deliberate two-phase movement the door displays. Skeptics counter that a loose latch combined with a pressure change from another room produces exactly this effect. But the uploader claims the house is completely sealed. That detail is never verified on camera.
Right in front of me. Oh man, I wish I would have.
Next, Young Black and Gifted on TikTok is working the night audit shift at a hotel, one of the loneliest jobs in the building at one of the loneliest hours of the night. The lobby is empty, the phones are quiet, and there is nothing unusual about the beginning of his shift. A call comes in and he picks up the receiver. He reads the room number on the display. Then he reads it again. Watch his expression as he processes what the number is telling him.
So I've been working at a hotel for, a couple years now. And I've never had anything like this happen. And I'm borderline freaked out. I'm not going to lie. So I'm sitting down here at the front desk, right? And I'm on the computer and I'm just typing away. Phone rings. I don't look at the phone. I just answer it. And, I say my whole little spiel or whatever. And it's just silent. The phone is just silent. After about, 3 or 4 seconds, I say hello again. Nothing. And right before I go to hang up, it sounds like I'm hearing somebody just like breathing on the other line. I just hang up and I'm like, okay, whatever. I ain't thinking twice about it. But then I go and look at the caller ID and let me show y'all something. All right. That's the room that called. Okay. Peep that. 505. Now let me show y'all something. I'm gonna go over here to the elevator so y'all know I'm not bullshitting. And I'm gonna turn the camera around. How many floors do you see here? Because I'm pretty sure we don't have a room 505 nor a 5th floor. This would be the night I quit. I don't do that shit. I don't.
The display showing room 505 in a 4-floor hotel is the entire case here, and it splits viewers immediately. Believers argue that a phantom room number appearing on a functional system points to a transmission from something outside the building's physical structure. Skeptics counter that PBX hotel phone systems are notoriously easy to spoof and frequently miss route extensions, especially in older installations. The skeptical frame holds until he rides the elevator and the panel confirms there is no 5th floor. Then what sent that call?
That's the room that called. Okay? Peep that.
Moving on from there, this footage comes from the Haunted Sunshine Girl series, a young woman actively investigating reports of a presence inside a remote residential property. She approaches the house alone, recording from the moment she arrives. The exterior looks unremarkable in daylight, the kind of place that would not draw a second glance. She enters, moves through the ground floor, and eventually makes her way up toward the bedroom. Watch the doorway at the top of the stairs as she approaches it.
Oh my god. So you guys saw that, right? Okay. The door was terrifying, but that's okay. Hello? Hello? Okay, whew. I left the door open. It was probably just the wind. Don't be crazy. Is anybody here? Okay. Nothing. Okay. Nothing. Yep. No. Whew. I probably just got overworked and
The figure in the doorway is either the most convincing footage in the series or its most effective production. Believers point to the unnatural stillness. No actor holds a posture that rigid without visible effort. Skeptics argue that Haunted Sunshine Girl is a produced web series with known actors and editing. What neither side explains is the absence of visible equipment in frame, which is either masterful filmmaking or something the cameras were not supposed to capture. What do you think was standing at the top of those stairs? From there, Hart starts bounding on TikTok is recording a casual video in her bedroom when she notices something in the mirror that stops her mid-sentence. The room behind her appears completely empty from every angle she checks. She moves toward the mirror, points her camera directly at the reflection, and focuses on a specific spot near her furniture. The room is lit, the space is familiar, and there is no reason for what she is about to see to be there.
So this is an old mirror that I upcycled, and I swear that sometimes you can see stuff in the background of the mirror that isn't actually there in real life. So I'm just gonna do a couple back and forths, but I'm curious to see if anyone sees anything that maybe I didn't catch. So here we go. Here's the mirror. Okay, so that's the background. And once again, my apartment. All right, comment if you see anything that's out of place.
The figure visible in the reflection but absent from the room it reflects is the kind of image that resists easy explanation. Believers argue that no quick edit can replicate the seamless continuity of the room shifting between direct view and reflection. Skeptics point to split-screen editing or a pre-positioned prop outside the camera's field as straightforward explanations. The camera moves quickly at the critical moment, which either confirms the hoax or is simply how people react to shock. What do you see in that glass? Shifting forward. This footage from TikTok was captured by Jehao to show a security officer making his rounds through a modern commercial building late at night. The building is empty, the hallways are still, and the shift is proceeding normally. Doors begin behaving strangely as he moves through the corridors. He follows the disturbance toward the restrooms at the end of the hall and approaches a specific doorway. Pay close attention to what appears just inside the threshold before he reaches it.
Lo ideal en estos casos, gente, es no demostrar miedo. Eso es lo mejor, o sea, lo mejor que podemos hacer es no demostrar miedo. Porque si demostramos... No tengan miedo. No tengan miedo. No tengan miedo. ¿Quién está ahí?
The hand appearing in the restroom doorway divides viewers with unusual precision. Believers describe it as a deliberate invitation from a sentient presence, pointing to the controlled gesture and the timing relative to his approach. Skeptics argue a person concealed behind the door partition could extend a hand and withdraw before the camera pans, and that the flickering lights are consistent with an electrical fault. But when he enters, the room is completely empty with nowhere to hide. What was standing in that doorway?
No tengan miedo.
Taking a different direction, Dark Side of Kyle on TikTok is living in a house mid-renovation, an inherently unsettled space where every sound has a ready explanation. He begins recording from his bedroom after noticing that the door connecting to the rest of the house has started behaving in a way the renovation cannot account for. The door is shaking on its hinges with a rhythm and a force that suggests something very specific on the other side. He reaches for the handle. Watch what is waiting behind it.
It keeps shaking.
The shaking door is forceful enough to suggest a person pushing from the other side, and the skeptical read here is the most straightforward of any clip tonight. An accomplice combined with a timed camera cut accounts for the disturbance and the discovery entirely. Believers point to the vintage doll standing upright in the middle of an active renovation space as something no crew would place there casually. But that is exactly what makes it effective as a prop. What do you think was behind that door? Up next, It's Momo 1998 on TikTok shares footage captured by a home security camera in a nursery, a space that should be the most carefully controlled room in the house. The room is empty of people. Nothing is turned on. Nothing is set to run on a timer. The baby items in the frame are passive objects resting on flat flooring. Watch what begins to move after several seconds of complete stillness. Baby equipment moving in an empty room is the kind of footage that holds attention, and this one earned it. Believers point to the simultaneous activation of multiple items as evidence of a non-mechanical force. Skeptics argue that rockers and walkers on uneven flooring will drift on their own, and that a toy piano with residual charge can activate without input. But the piano activates in sync with the rocker, two coincidences at exactly the same moment. What do you think set them off? Continuing from there, Keisha creates on TikTok steps outside at night after her dog begins reacting to something at the edge of the tree line behind the house. She takes her phone and a flashlight and starts recording as she moves toward whatever has the dog's attention. The yard ends where the woods begin, and the flashlight does not reach far. She stops at the boundary and directs the beam into the trees. Watch the darkness between the trunks.
What is that? Hello? Rocky, what is that? Mom? Come on, Rocky, let's go inside. Come on.
The eyes in the tree line are the detail that makes this footage difficult to settle. Believers note the height of the reflection is far above what any deer or common woodland animal would produce, and that the eyes track the camera in a way passive eyeshine does not. Skeptics argue that stationary reflective surfaces and parallax error can produce the illusion of movement, and that any large animal at that distance would appear at that height, but the dog refuses to stop reacting. Animals do not perform. After that, this clip comes from TikTok. A homeowner recording his living room late at night after catching a shape moving along the far wall. He is alone, the room is familiar, the lights are on, and there is nothing in the initial frame that should produce movement. He follows the direction the shape went, into a side room, and stands in the doorway scanning the space. The small figure disappearing into an apparently empty room is the kind of footage that sits squarely in the category of things difficult to reproduce accidentally. Believers classify this as a duende sighting, a category with substantial cultural documentation across Latin America. Skeptics argue that a pet, a small child, or a person moving quickly through low light can produce exactly this kind of motion blur. The sound at the end, however, is the detail that resists every clean debunking. What made that sound? Close behind that, this footage was posted on TikTok by a man returning home alone at 3:15 in the morning. The house appears normal from the street. He approaches his own porch and notices that the light above the door is behaving unusually. He stops walking. Something about the feeling of the space makes him slow down before he has consciously registered why. He raises his phone and begins recording before he reaches the door.
Estaba por entrar a mi casa, son 3:15 de la mañana, y la luz empieza a ser así, no sé. Sinceramente siento que hay alguien acá. No sé por qué lo presiento. Si te querés mostrar, Mostrate ahora. Lo estoy viendo. Hay alguien sentado ahí. Hay alguien sentado. Mostrate.
The violent pounding on the door occurs while both of the uploaders' hands are occupied with the camera, leaving the source of the noise completely external. Believers argue that the precision of the knocking suggests an intelligent entity attempting to force its way inside the home. Skeptics argue that a secondary person could easily be standing out of frame to create the auditory illusion of a haunting. Yet the empty rooms and the frantic search provide an unresolved detail that lingers long after the video ends. For the penultimate clip, Dark Threads 1 on TikTok is a young woman who has been alone in her home for several hours when something begins requesting entry at her bedroom door. She locks the door. The voice outside does not stop. What makes this footage uniquely disturbing is not the knocking. It is the specific voice producing it. She recognizes it immediately and knows it cannot be there.
Are you there, honey? Open the door for mommy. Bella. Hello. Bella. Bella, are you there, honey? Open the door for mommy. Bella, are you there, honey? Open the door for mommy. Bella, are you there, honey? Open the door for mommy.
The voice mimicking a family member through a locked door is perhaps the most psychologically targeted form of paranormal activity documented on film. Believers classify this as a mimic entity, describing the precise vocal replication as a signature of malevolent intelligence. Skeptics argue that a voice-changing application or a prepared audio track played through a speaker outside the door accounts for everything audible in this footage. But the relentless knocking combined with the voice is harder to stage than either alone. What do you think was in that hallway?
Bella, are you there, honey? Open the door for mommy.
What follows is footage taken at the Malvern Manor in Iowa, a property with a documented history of paranormal investigation and a reputation that tends to precede it into every conversation. A researcher stands alone in a long, empty corridor, facing a closed door at the far end. He knocks on the wood and waits. Nothing in this building should be capable of responding. Keep your eyes on the door handle as the silence settles.
No. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Are you freaking kidding me? Okay.
The door handle turning on its own is the most mechanically specific anomaly in this footage. Not a slam or a drift, but a controlled rotation of a latch. Believers argue that the Malvern Manor's history of activity, combined with the investigator's isolated position, rules out a staged explanation. Skeptics point to a person with a wire or cord position beyond the door as the most economical explanation for exactly this kind of rotation. The investigator's panic feels genuine. The empty darkness behind the door does not resolve anything.
No.
In our final clip, our Jace on TikTok is driving with a group of friends down a desolate highway in the early hours of the morning when they spot a white figure standing far ahead on the road. The car slows. The passengers go quiet. The figure appears to be walking. But something about the movement is wrong before they are close enough to fully understand why.
Why is she so fancy?
I see her.
Do you actually?
Unless that's just a light post, but it looks like something white over there.
Oh yeah. No, you guys, we're getting haunted. That's. Did they stop? No.
She turned. Or wait, did she? She's
She's walking the...
The figure on the road appears to move backward at a speed no person walking normally could produce. Believers argue that the sustained backward motion combined with the figure's apparent awareness of the vehicle points to something non-human. Skeptics counter that a person in a white costume deliberately walking backward creates exactly this illusion for passing cars, and that the low-resolution nighttime camera makes the deception easier. The voices in the car, however, break in a way that is difficult to perform. What was on that road?
She's walking the...
Tonight we started with a bedroom door drifting open in Pennsylvania and ended on a desolate highway with a figure that refused to move like anything human. In between, a call from a floor that does not exist, a hand beckoning from an empty restroom, eyes locking onto a flashlight from inside the trees, and a voice using the face of someone you love to get you to open a door. Every one of these recordings leaves something unresolved. That is the part that stays. Thank you for watching Pale Playback. Sleep well. Keep your eyes on the shadows.